Hello everyone, this is Boricua Binks. Welcome to a brand new Let's Play since my butler didn't work out. We're gonna do another dating game. This one is actually a sequel. I already LP'd Seduce Me, the first game, on my channel, and it was really great. Off screen, I have played through the rest of the game. I dated everybody else, and everybody was really well written. I liked all of the routes, actually. I still like my taste. I think James is still my favorite, and I'll probably stick with him for this one. But I might, depending on how long this takes, I don't know if I'll include other people. I really enjoyed Diana's storyline, actually. Ooh. Ooh, singing. Sorry. And I really enjoyed all the other guys. They're heartwarming in their own ways. They're adorable. I heard this game was even better than the first one, so I'm excited. This one's called Seduce Me 2: The Demon War. They already had kind of mentioned before that all is not well back in their home realm, the demon world or whatever. So, yeah, apparently I can choose the boys or my path, my love option here. I think James is gray. Oh dear. I think he's gray. I know for sure Sam is green and Eric is red. Diana might be purple. What's interesting, I don't see any options for our side people, like our two girlfriends and Andrew, but that's fine with me. They were interesting, but not as interesting. So we'll stick with James. I hope I'm right that it's gray.
Hold on there! Before you start the game, I need to ask you a few things. Don't want you getting lost now.
Okay. Okay, that's her name. So basically this character doesn't pop up in many of the storylines, but she did pop up, I believe, in Naomi's. She owned the cafe or whatever that they go to eat at, or yeah, I think so. So she's connected in this storyline, looks like. Interesting. She's gonna ask me some
First
stuff.
of all, have you read the first story, Seduce Me the Otome? Like, seriously read it. No skimming, no pretending to read it. No. It's okay if you haven't, but there are a lot of things in this game that you won't understand unless you fully experienced and understood that story first.
Alright, we're good. Yes.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Next question. You do know this is Damien's route,
Oops.
right? You know, the demon that wanted to be a human? The, bastard son?
I like Damien. I didn't know.
Well, now you do. It's not too late to go back to the main menu and choose another route. Just click the main button in the dialog box and you'll be transferred back to the main menu.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm glad they're doing that since, Oh, maybe James is yellow. That's right. His power was golden or whatever. So, okay. Alright, sorry. It's been a while. Forgive me.
Hold on there! First of all,
Yes.
Oh, you do know
Yes.
this is James's route, right? You know, the eldest incubus?
Yes, the hot, sexy bae. I got it right. I'm good. I got it. Yes, I know.
Oh, awesome! All right then. James is pretty cool, huh? It's the glasses, isn't it? You can tell me.
Yes, it's the glasses. How did you know? How did you know my weakness?
Anyway, I have one last question for you. Some people like hearing the trigger warnings before they start games, while others don't really care and just want to play. It's cool either way, but do you want to know about some of the content listed in the game?
For the sake of you, my beloved viewers, I will totally listen to the trigger warnings. Alright?
No problem. It's my pleasure. Well, this game is recommended for players ages 18 and up. Trigger warnings include suicide,
Ooh.
war, torture, mentions of rape, and a large amount of violence and sexual content.
Alright, you heard her, guys. If this is not for you, please look away. I have a feeling it's not going to be as heavy duty as it sounds, based on the last game. But we'll see. Maybe they did turn it up a notch.
Don't worry though, any sex scene choice you encounter is completely up to you. You can play this game without needing to go through the sex scenes and still get the good endings. Consent is important.
Aw, that's so nice. I really like that, by the way, that they do that. I don't know how, if it shows too much, I might not be able to. I might have to just do the sex stuff off screen. We'll see.
I think that should be everything. All right. Phew, that took a while.
Alright.
You forgot something.
Diana looks different. Ooh. Oh, so sexy, lady.
Huh? What did I forget?
You forgot about the disclaimer.
Oh, crap! Oh, how could I have forgotten about that?
It's fine, I'll take care of it. This game was produced by Michaela Laws using the Ren'Py visual novel engine. We truly hope you enjoy this story.
Alright, thank you.
Thanks, Diana. Now, don't you have a war to go fight?
I do. I just wanted to make sure everything was in order before the story began. I'll take my leave now.
Diana. I can't wait to see your story route too, because it was really interesting last time.
Thanks, Di.
Do not call me Di.
Okay.
Anyway, we really do hope you like the story. Have fun. See you at the end.
Oh. Wait, does that mean I'll only see you at the end? Please say no. I like her. Huh.
I wish to set a stone destiny. Because the fate of the abyssal plains is in the hands of the wrong man. I must set things right. I come bearing my life force as the price.
Ooh.
Take as much as you desire, as long as my request is fulfilled.
Who's doing this?
Then, that is the price, as long as you set the stone destiny.
Somebody just sacrificed themselves, it sounds like. My name? My name is... Oh. I always feel awkward at this point. I mean, yeah, I could keep her name, which I did when I just played on my own. What name did I go by in my LP? I don't remember. Did I go by Binks? Because to me, that's just not... I'll just... You know what? I'll do what I did in my Butler. I'll use my other name. This name that I like to use. I'll go by Jackie, since I can't remember. I'd almost forgotten it. I clung to it by a single thread, knowing that if I let go, I'd be lost in a dark void never to return. Why? Why was I so worried about my name? Well, it was the only claim I had to reality, especially when I was behind bars. Wait, what? For some reason, I was in a cell. I didn't know why. I didn't know how I got in here. All I knew was that I was in it, and that I was chained to a wall by shackles on my ankles. I didn't want to accept the bars as real. I didn't want to be in a cell. I didn't want to smell the dank stench of blood and sweat emanating from all around me. But I had no choice in the matter. No matter how many times I examined my surroundings, they remained the same. I was in a cell in a dimly lit stone dungeon. The walls were unfriendly, and the shackles around my ankles provided no comfort. The rags I was forced to wear barely fit, and I felt filthy. Ooh. Why was I here? I didn't have the answer. All I knew was that I was trapped. I could hear quiet sobbing and muffled screaming from further down the passageway I was in. They reverberated from down the hall, and I knew that they must have come from fellow prisoners or the condemned. I, however, only had one neighbor. In the cell beside me sat a figure wrapped in a dark purple cloak. The top of the figure's head was shrouded by both the shadows in their cell and the hood that covered their face. They never spoke. They never moved. Were they dead? I watched them closely for some time, but I never saw their body inhale, exhale, or show any other sign of life. I didn't wish to think on it further, so I turned my head away. What was happening? I opened my mouth to shout, hoping that maybe someone would hear me and give me some sort of clue as to what was going on. As I tried to command my voice to speak, however, the sound of a large door opening echoed throughout the dungeon. I turned my head towards the direction of the sound and watched as the hall slowly began to brighten, like there was a torch moving towards my cell. I stared wide-eyed at what was approaching. Moving toward my cell was a man I recognized, one that had been close to my heart, and now had a look of cold disdain in his eyes. No, James, don't tell me! My chest pounded as his name reverberated in my head. James. Oh no, James, how could you? What? He looks evil. No, I feel so betrayed. There must be something going on. He was still in his human form, but his voice vibrated with demonic echoes and waves, sending shivers down my spine. His tone was cold and unfeeling, as if I was not someone he loved, but someone he despised with every ounce of his being.
You still live. I'm surprised.
Diana. Oh, that was Diana. Oh, she's naked down there, isn't she? Awkward. Suddenly, from the cell beside me, the cowled figure jumped up and slammed into the bars, gripping them as they snarled at James. I stared, now able to see who had been hidden by the cloak.
You piece of filth! How can you dare show your face again?
Diana? James seemed unfazed as he stepped towards Diana's cage and leaned in, almost nose to nose with her.
And you live too. How resilient you both are.
We're not so weak as to break under your chains, traitor. After all, unlike you, I carry pure Lilith blood in my veins. In that human, the one you love, is more powerful than your pathetic mind can fathom.
Wow. Everything's so different. What was Diana talking about? Why was James acting like this? I opened my mouth to speak, but felt something hold back my voice. It was as if a vice had been tightened over my vocal cords and denied them any chance to create sound in my throat. James smirked and gripped Diana's chin, making her snarl louder.
Anyone can be broken. It just takes time and patience, both of which I have in abundance.
Ooh. Even though he's evil now, he's so hot. That voice, that look.
Fucking monk!
Ooh. James tightened his grip on her chin, digging his fingers into her jaw. Diana could only wince and glare at the one holding her. I felt fear run through my body as his lips curved even more into a devilish smirk. How could he look so evil?
Be patient, woman. You'll have your turn soon.
As James turned his... hold on. Can I'm gonna turn down the background music just a little bit so we can hear the talking better. Alright. As James turned his gaze to me, I felt my body suddenly heat up. His eyes were glowing an almost sickly golden yellow as he stared into my soul and ignited my core with heat and desire. I felt dizzy and weak, my mouth falling open to allow a silent sigh escape from my lips. What was happening? Uh-oh. I guess conjugal visit time. What the heck? Well, they are incubi. James released Diana and walked to the door of my cell, quickly manipulating the lock to open it. As the door opened, I felt myself crawl backwards towards the back of the cell, suddenly afraid of the demon who was approaching. At the same time, I felt uncanny and unnatural elation for the man approaching me with a smirk that tore at my heart.
Well, time to dine.
Oh no, that's not right.
Don't you fucking touch her!
Ugh. I see what they mean, mention of rape. Please don't let it happen. It's not... because he's not himself and the situation, it's not like a happy, oh yeah, let's have sex. No, this is not good at all. Before I knew it, Diana pressed her body against the bars that divided our cells and grabbed James's shoulder, digging her nails into it.
You little...
Aw, Diana's such a good person now. What? No! In retaliation, James swung his arm towards Diana and formed a familiar pistol in his hand. Within moments, he aimed and fired. No! I could only watch as Diana jumped back and held her chest, blood oozing from between her fingers onto the ground. She stared at James in both pain and surprise, before crumbling to the floor and exhaling the last breath she would ever take. Wow, I did not expect her to die like this. Whoa, not in the beginning. What the? My mind was caught in a frenzy of emotions. While I felt shocked, terrified, and mortified at what had happened, my mind continued to dance in the desirable waves that ran through my body. Why couldn't I control myself? The pistol in James's hand disappeared as he let out a sneer of irritation.
Damn it!
James then looked at me, towering over me as I both cowered in fear and melted against the back wall of my cell.
Looks like you'll have to give me twice the amount of energy from now on.
Oh no. As James began to step towards me, I felt hot tears run down my cheeks while I panted like a dog in heat. I wanted to scream. I wanted to tell him not to hurt me. Please, someone stop this. My voice began to press against the vice holding it, wanting to explode out. James's shadow consumed me, and I let out a scream. Then, I woke up. Whoa! It was a dream? What the? That was, suspicious. I don't think that dream was an ordinary dream. Or nightmare, I should say. I shot up in my bed, panting wildly as my heart pounded hard against my ribcage. I gripped my hand over my chest, feeling my pulse beating underneath the skin in a frantic rhythm in time with my hastened breath. I heard the faint echo of my scream bounce through the room as I let reality sink in. It was a dream, and I was awake now. Everything was okay. Everything was...
Love?
What did he say? That sounded weird. My heart froze and I felt my body tense up at the sound of James's voice beside me. My heated cheeks reminded me of the tears I had shed in the dream and who had caused them. Aww, but this is innocent baby James. He would never hurt me. So scary. I could tell the art style changed since the first game, which is pretty cool. Sometimes some of it looked really good, and then other times it looked a little funky. So I think whoever did it, maybe they improved their style or whatever, so good for them. That's awesome. I shot my head to the side to see James, the man whom I loved, but also the man who terrified me, looking at me with a face painted with concern and worry.
Love, are you okay?
Oh, he said love. Oh, okay. Oh, shoot. She's, really confused, taking it out on poor James. Get away from me! I couldn't control myself as I quickly rolled out of bed and pressed myself back against the far wall, staring at him in absolute terror. James only stared back at me, still shocked and now troubled. He didn't move, most likely not wanting to frighten me further. Aw, you hurt his feelings. Images of the dream I had began to replay in my head, replacing the James in bed with the James that towered over me in that dark jail cell. My body shook violently from the memory, but soon my logic began to break the images apart, leaving me with the sight of James still in bed staring at me. My thoughts slowly melted and I felt myself start to cry once again. This time, my heart began to ache as I realized whom I had yelled at. I lurched forward and practically jumped at James, who opened his arms wide and wrapped me in them as I landed against his chest. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Shh. There's nothing to be sorry about. It was only a nightmare. I'm right here.
I gotta say, compared to like other games like My Butler, it's so nice to hear a male voice acting these parts, and so I don't have to do it, and it like further puts me into the mindset of the story. Like I feel like he's really talking to me compared to me just reading all the lines. So I really like this a lot. James held me close to him as I began to cry into his shoulder. I continued to apologize to him, whimpering and sobbing like a child as the fear from the nightmare slowly began to fade away. James's hands simply ran over my head and hair, trying to calm me down. It had felt so real, and yet I knew that it couldn't have been. James was right here, protecting me and comforting me, proving the love he had for me. He would never hurt me. Ever. Eventually, I was able to calm down and I looked up at the man holding me as he gently smiled down at me.
Are you all right?
He's so hot. Sorry. I nodded, earning a small squeeze of his arms around me. I naturally cuddled closer to his body, desiring more of his warmth. What time is it? James gently hugged me tighter to his body as he looked over to his nightstand at his phone, which was docked in a fancy speaker charger.
It's 3:40 a.m.
Yikes. We still had a few hours before our alarms were set to wake us. Crap. Why did I have to have a nightmare and wake both of us up? I gripped James's shoulders and looked up at him apologetically. I'm sorry. I know you need your sleep.
Please don't worry about it. My beautiful fiancé is much more important to me than sleep.
Oh. I love that they're engaged. As he said fiancé, I can't help but feel my face heat up, letting a blush run along my cheeks. It was true. I was his fiancé. He had asked me to marry him a couple of months ago, and I accepted his proposal, wanting to be his wife. Just thinking about the idea of being with him forever made the imaginary butterflies in my stomach dance around happily and flutter their wings against my heart. It was a dream come true. His love and warmth assured me that my nightmare was just that. He was my wonderful husband-to-be, and I was going to be his wife. My body couldn't help but shiver in happiness. James caught the shiver and gently ran his hands up and down my arms.
Are you feeling cold?
No, you just make me happy, that's all. As I leaned up and kissed James's cheek, he smiled and kissed mine in return. His warm lips sent another euphoric shiver down my spine, and I felt joy run through my veins. I truly loved James. It wasn't long, however, before I felt something gently brush against my hip. Oh, I see. I looked down as James cleared his throat in embarrassment. Raising an eyebrow as well as growing a blush on my face, I looked up at my fiancé as he looked away from me, his face almost red as a tomato.
I'm sorry, I can't exactly control my excitement when you say things like that.
So cute. Well, since we're up anyway. James didn't have to use his powers to light a fire in me. I gently tilted my head, Ooh, sex time. Woo! Sorry. I gently tilted my head and kissed him, capturing his lips with mine lovingly. I felt my body slowly heat up softly and tenderly to make sure not to scare me. His enthrallment over me became a natural part of our lovemaking. It not only helped him gain energy, but it made the pleasure of our sex practically 10 times more powerful. Yeah. As I moaned against his lips, James gently ran his hands down my back and over my rear, making me slightly jump in surprise at the feel. Ooh. As he gripped it, I let out another hot moan, and James smiled and chuckled quietly against my lips. I stared at the ceiling, lusting for James as he pulled away from the kiss and began to kiss over my neck. I absolutely needed this man, and I needed him now. Okay, don't get too in detail, please. My body pressed against his and forced him back onto the bed, allowing me to be on top and in control. Ooh, you go, girl. James stared up at me, still gripping onto my ass and gently massaging each cheek with his fingers with a smirk. We both knew that he was always in control whenever we made love. However, my rebellious attempts at being top often spurred him on to be that much rougher in our play. It was like a game. Still, I like to think that I tried valiantly and not in vain. I moved my hands back and took his off of me, lacing our fingers together and pinning them to the bed beside his head. They didn't fight back against my hold, but James's face continued to intimidate me with a playful smirk and a dominant gaze. I gently leaned down and captured his lips again, grinding my hips against him and showing him the heat and desire I was feeling for him. This seems a little more long compared to last time. Okay. His hands tightened around mine, and I felt him gently grind back up into me and letting his own desire rub against mine. Okay, my body forced me to pull his lips away, making me bite my lower lip in pleasure at the grind, before suddenly feeling myself being flipped over on the bed with James smirking over me. I didn't care. I wanted him to take me in whatever position we ended up in. Wrapping my legs around his waist, I pulled James close and leaned my head up, brushing my lips against his. What are you waiting for? Take me.
As you wish.
Ooh. Okay. Doesn't go too... Okay. Within mere moments, we went from grinding each other to moaning each other's names as we made passionate love. Our clothes were thrown about the room, but we didn't give a damn. We were busy. Every movement pushed moans and gasps from my lips, building towards a beautiful high as I moved against him and made him feel the same. Our sex wasn't just to feel pleasure, it was our bodies melding and moving together in perfect harmony, with each moan professing our love for each other. There wasn't a single moment of silence between us, letting our love echo throughout the room. As we were finally eclipsed in ecstasy for each other, we held each other tightly, not wanting to let go of one another. James had pulled up our covers over our bodies, and I made his chest my pillow. Okay, they're done. Sexy music, please stop. No, I'm just kidding. James ran his hands through my hair, his heated and worn-out breath matching mine as we both fell back into the darkness of sleep. The nightmare didn't return. I slept peacefully within James's arms as if nothing else mattered in the world except for me and him. The morning was kind, James and I sweetly awakening before our alarms. Okay, that will be it for today's episode, guys. We started off pretty interesting. I'm a little concerned about that dream, honestly. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're enjoying this. I am excited for this LP. I loved the first game, so I'm sure I'm going to love the second. So thank you guys for watching. And until next time, have a nice day. Bye!